So I'm going to start a little bit and talk about our organization and my work before I get into the key components of this talk, which is humility, health, and hope. Now, I recognize there are people that are be giving a breakout session in a couple hours, and I looked at all of the offerings today, and there are quite a few of you in your titles for your breakouts that use the word empower. Anybody in here right now that has the word empower? Or in the last 48 hours, who has not heard the word empower in the work that we're involved in? So it's the word we use all the time, right? And there's really incredible weight to it. It's something that we use, especially in the nonprofit advocacy world. Empower has been really embraced. But recently someone came up and kind of hit me on the shoulder and said, Sarah, it's okay to reimagine and think through words that we're using this day and age. And they reminded me that in one sense, using the word empower assumes that someone doesn't inherently already have power, that they have to be given power to be empowered. And so it made me take a step back and kind of reflect on that and say, maybe there's another word. Maybe there's another way to talk about this, because often, I think it was Alice Walker that was quoted saying, the greatest way people give up power is realizing they don't have any. And we all have so much to give and so much to share in terms of our lived experience and our visions for the world. And so basically, a couple years ago when I was in a spring sickness, not COVID, but I was feverish and I couldn't sleep, and I was like, what's the word? What's the word that I can use to replace empower? And embolden came to mind. And I think this fits so much better for me and my vision for the work that I'm doing, in that maybe you inherently already have power, but maybe you don't inherently have the courage or the confidence or the connections, right, to apply that power. And so hence we became Embolden Wisconsin after 20 years of being the Wisconsin Alliance for Women's Health on January 1st of this year. And this is what we're doing day in and day out, is really working to embolden people to be advocates for positive change. Embolden Wisconsin is new. It's been a 2-year journey of really doing authentic reflection on our organization's work. But we're here to help cultivate the courage, curiosity, community, and connection that will strengthen that inherent power we all have. Now, Embolden Wisconsin is really focused on working upstream. And I'm going to go through that a lot in my talk today. This quote by Desmond Tutu talks about how we need to stop just throwing, I'm totally paraphrasing, you can see the quote up there, but we need to stop just assuming we can throw in life jackets downriver when we see people come floating by drowning, right? He thinks that what if we go upstream and find out, why are these people falling in the water to begin with? What if we could prevent them falling in and not just having to Band-Aid and be ready with a life jacket further downriver? And so I'm so proud of the pivot the Alliance for Women's Health made into Embolden Wisconsin, is that more than ever we're really focused upstream and really building that kind of community power and emboldening community. Our two main priorities at Embolden Wisconsin are health equity, buzzword that I think a lot of you are familiar with. Not a buzzword, I think it's a key component, again, in our work as a society. But then some of you might not have heard the term civic health. Anybody here familiar with civic health, the concept? Yeah, this is a little newer. Civic health, watch this space, because I really feel like civic health is going to be more and more in our vernacular and the work that we're doing in trying to improve health outcomes and to embolden individuals. Civic health, you hear a lot about social determinants of health. But another really core component of this is political determinants of health. And civic health is really about belonging, and it's about engaging, and it's about having policy and systems happen with you instead of to you. So you being here today is an exercise in civic health. And I have lots more information on that on our website, and I could probably come back and do a breakout next year, but just watch that space for civic health. Is this microphone working okay? Okay. Organizations you may have heard of that are affiliated with us are Patch, Providers and Teens Communicating for Health, and Amy Olenichek, our director of Patch, is here sitting up front cheering us on and keeping me on time. ECHO is engaging communities to change health outcomes. These are two homegrown projects that our organization has created that centers the voice of those often missing from conversations around policy and systems. So our PATCH program centers the voice of adolescents, puts them in the driver's seats, and helps them to advocate for better healthcare systems that really infuse confidentiality and trust and rights and responsibilities in healthcare. And then our ECHO program is a newer program, but that really centers the voice of women of color who have been, again, chronically missing from the conversations dealing with different disparities, different areas like maternal child health and others. But our organization really took a step back the last couple of years and said, what can we do to do more to embolden and to lift up these really great community-driven initiatives? And so we've now come into the space of fiscal sponsorship. If any of you know what fiscal sponsorship is, basically it is a pain to go and get your own 501c3 status and start your own nonprofit, and there's a lot of administrative requirements that come with that. The new territory right now is for a group like ours to offer and to lend our nonprofit status to others who are looking to kind of try out a concept. And so often, I think what community-driven change looks like gets bogged down by all the administrative requirements for funding or nonprofit status. So we want to be that administrative backbone for more of these innovative health equity and civic health programs. And so if any of you know Roots for Change, which is a group of doulas here in Madison, they're working to improve maternal child health in the Latinx community here. And then AMI is a group in Milwaukee doing some great work around Rwanda refugees. And then Building Families Alliance is a coalition we're helping to house that's fighting for infertility treatment coverage here in Wisconsin.